To discuss, we're joined by spokesperson for that department, Albi Modise. Mr. Modise, thank you for being with us. If you look at the possible things that can happen if you are exposed to hydrogen sulphide, irritation to eyes, respiratory system as well, coma, convulsions, dizziness, and then of course we have a whole list of symptoms if you're exposed to other chemicals as well. My first question to you is, were residents in danger? Do we know about the health implications of what has happened this past week?
Francis, good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity. I need to say that of course, last year we had a similar incident in February where sulphurous odour episodes were experienced in Mpumalanga and Gauteng. Scientists tell us that it's only when it's over a prolonged period of time that it begins to be a hazard to the health of a lot of people. But of course, we respond differently to situations. So there would be those that slight exposure to sulphurous odour would trigger certain symptoms. Some of them are the ones that you would have listed now. The reason why we set up this task team is because we believe strongly that the right to clean health and clean air, it's a right that is extended to all South Africans. But also we understand the fact that there are industries that operate in Gauteng, in Mpumalanga, in the Northwest Province, in the Free State, where potentially the order would have emanated from. So emanating from that particular understanding, this particular task team was set up to investigate possible upset conditions that were experienced or could have been reported by any emission license holders over the past month or so, and to look at how, if that particular report was done, what could have been the potential impact on the communities living in the vicinity of those particular sites.
You mentioned an incident last year, and apparently Sasol then was looked at Secunda plant, but there was an inconclusive report, and that just went away. So why should we feel confident that this time you'll get to the bottom of what is causing this?
Last year what we did was just we went to investigate. We worked closely with Gertseban, the municipality in Mpumalanga. We went to the Sasol plant, which was suspected to have been the source, and we couldn't find any particular scientific linkage to that particular source. But what we're doing now, beyond just looking at what has been reported, is that we're probing possible sources through inspections. We have, for long-term plan, officials are asked to undertake a detailed assessment of the hydrogen sources in the 4 provinces, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Free State, as well as working in the Northwest Province. And this is with understanding that there are mining activities, there are wastewater treatment facilities, there are landfill sites, and those will be prioritized as they are the most significant contributors to this type of stench as well.
All right, so right now you don't even know, there are 2 things here. It could be sulfur dioxide or hydrogen sulphide. So you don't know what it is, nor where it's coming from.
All we can say is that it was a sulphurous odor that we reported. And we do know for sure that there had been cases of high levels of hydrogen sulphide around Irene monitoring station. We have monitoring stations across the country, and there is one which is stationed at the Irene in Centurion, which on the 7th of June reported elevated levels of hydrogen sulphide, and we're looking at that to establish what could have been the trigger in that area. So the work that we're doing, Francis, is across the provinces that I've enumerated, but it's also geared towards making sure that we have a fuller grasp and understanding of what could be the trigger. Each time that there is something like this, it has to cover all of the different provinces that I've mentioned earlier.
And we as the residents affected, will we know? Will this be transparent? Will it be made public? Or will it be a quick probe?
It will be a quick probe. It will be transparent. We operate as a department, as a public institution, in the interest of the public. Our responsibility and our role, it takes a cue from the Constitution and from the Air Quality Act, which justifies and protects the right to a clean air. But also we understand the fact that there are industries that operate in those areas. But we're saying those industries as you operate in those areas, make sure that you stick to the limit that has been set in terms of atmospheric emission license, which would have given them a particular cap in terms of emissions. Whenever there is such an increase in terms of elevated odour, it becomes a trigger, it's an area of concern. Hence, when that happened, Minister Chrissy on the 9th asked that we set up a team that involves all the provinces because of the concurrent function the environment portfolio is. So we're working with those particular provinces that I've mentioned.
Mr. Modise, final question, because there's a bigger picture here. It emerged a couple of years ago that the air quality in Mpumalanga is dire. There was a court case last year dubbed the deadly air case because of the coal mines, the stations. We know that the air can move across provinces. We've had various commitments from the minister. What is your department doing about sort of the bigger picture, ensuring good quality of air across all provinces, ensuring that those levels are tested consistently and very frequently?
Look, the issue of the air quality as well as related to the power stations is an issue that's within the courts, and we're working on that particular response. So I wouldn't want to delve further into that particular matter. But it's also fair to say that we are an economy that is based on largely emissions that are coming from different industries. So part of the efforts towards a just transition that is led from the presidency, supported and also championed by Minister Chrissy, is to get the nation to move towards a lower emission economy that creates jobs, but it must be a just one because it needs to make sure it takes people along with it. It understands the fact that there are people who go to the belly of the earth every single day to get coal. And when we transition to the new economy, how do we make sure we take everyone along with us and not leave people stranded, but do not actually leave those towns where big stations are as ghost towns? So it's a bigger debate that's happening at the higher level, and I would love to assure South Africans that it's something that we would want to make sure that it takes all of us along with as we move towards the greener economy that we all are clamoring for.
All right, thank you very much. From the Department of Environmental Affairs, Albi Modise will watch that probe very closely. Air quality is something that affects us, and this came up, in fact, on Weather Report.